Hello U10, welcome to our very first in Flipped lesson. I'm super excited to be sharing this new project with you guys, and I'm hoping that you guys are also excited. By now you would be up to date with exactly what we're doing, so we're just going to dive straight into the content. You're all familiar with our new topic, which is text and representation, and obviously we are looking at conflict. So just like any other lesson where I stand up and I brief you on the learning intention, I'm going to do that in the video as well. So it's super important that you follow along with the workbook that I gave you, and let's have a look at our learning intention for today. So today's learning intention, we are going to understand the different types of internal and external conflict. We're going to provide contemporary examples for each of these conflicts. We'll be able to write a short story that has a conflict plot and characters, and we're going to use technology appropriately and responsibly. And I'm really emphasizing that last dot point. It's very important to me because in order for flipped learning to work, you need to be in control of your learning and you need to use the technology to the best of your educational ability. This means we stick on the video, we watch the video, and we're not using our iPad for anything else. Basically, these lessons all add up to the bigger picture. So they add up to your assessment. So they're little pieces of the puzzle, okay? And we're working towards that end goal, which is the assessment. So let's turn all of this into a success criteria. Let's jump into our first activity. Task 1. Why do we need conflict in text? Let's have a little bit of a read, and you guys can highlight your worksheet along the way. That's completely up to you. If you think something is important or if you don't understand something, you can just highlight it, and I'll be walking around the class to help you as well. So conflict is important to literature because it provides the basic materials for the construction of the plot. Without conflict, nothing would happen. It's a really interesting statement. So the question to you all is, do you agree or do you disagree that we need conflict in text? And you need to respond using CUPS, as you can see here, which is your capital letters, understanding, punctuation, and sentences, the four main things I always emphasize that I want from you when you're writing. So I believe that conflict is, I'm just going to write a short response to help you out so you guys can see what I'm thinking, but you guys can either agree or disagree. It's completely up to you. So I believe that conflict is required in text because it engages the viewers and provides points of discussion. Now, that's a very simple response. I would obviously love more depth and understanding from you guys, but that's just an example from what I expect in terms of agreeing or disagreeing. After this activity, and feel free to pause me along the way whenever you're focusing on a certain point in the booklet, you can just pause me and press play whenever you need to. After that, you're going to look at what is conflict. And I know we have looked at what is conflict in our first lesson, but we've had a few lessons since then. And what I would like you to do now is bring all those ideas together in one place. So feel free to look into your booklets and add more to it as well. Because it will really just be a point of contact for you when you need to think about what conflict really is. You can open up this booklet and say, I've got it all here. I've got it on this burst bubble. So really, really, really really think about this and look at your workbooks as well. Then task 2 is the conflict journey. And like I said, pause me along the way if you are doing these activities. So task 2, we have a windy road, and we can see that there's character versus society, character versus nature, character versus character, and character versus self. Now, at this point, we might be unfamiliar with what these terms are, or we might know what these terms are, and that's completely okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video that's attached to our Google Classroom, and we're going to fill in this table, and the video on Google Classroom will really help us with all of this. So let's go and have a look at Google Classroom to see where the video is. So I'm just opening up my Google Classroom, and I presume you guys are doing the same thing as well. Taking its time, and I'll just, there we go, 10 English and conflict link. So I'll just open up that link right here and it will take me to it. So this is the video that we'll be watching, and I'm going to watch the video along with you for a little bit, and I can pause along the way to implement information as well. So let's just see.
Every story has a conflict.
Straight away, I really like that point, and every story does have a conflict, because if we think back to To Kill a Mockingbird definitely had a conflict. If we think back to the poem Son of Mine, there was definitely a conflict in there. What else? The Wasteland, there was conflict. And even the Adam Goodes article, there was conflict. So every story does have a conflict. So conflict is very, very important in texts as it engages the viewers and again provides points of discussion.
A conflict is a struggle between two opposing forces.
And if we have a look at our table on our worksheet, we can see that these are the two opposing forces, the internal conflict and the external conflict. So let's have a listen to what these conflicts are all about.
There are two kinds of conflicts. There's an external conflict. These take place outside the body, and it's between the character and an outside force.
Outside the body, between a character and an outside force. Great. So we realize now that these are the outside forces, these three things. And we're going to learn a little bit more about them in just a second.
And there are also internal conflicts. These take place inside the character. It's a struggle within the character himself.
Within the character himself. So it's an internal conflict that's inside of you. It's an emotional conflict. So what's going to happen now is the video will go through what each of these conflicts are, and what you will do is you will draw what you think these conflicts look like in real life. After that, you'll go on to a different activity in another section of the classroom, and basically this is our first flip lesson over. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I can help you out along the way, and happy flipping.